guys, it's Nadia from LiaDia Designs, and I'm back with another flower testing video. This time I am going to be attempting to make either a peony or a rose or some flower that has a lot of kind of curled petals. That's kind of my goal, and I'm going to try a different technique today. I know we've been using the little piping bags for the last couple videos. I'm going to go back to my original technique, which is using a paintbrush. So I'm going to try that. And also the way I'm actually going to lay the pigment into the resin is going to be a little different this time as well. So what we're doing now is we're just going to start off with the same way we started off the other flowers, where we laid down kind of a thin layer of clear resin, and we got the bubbles out. And now we're just adding some very fine iridescent flakes around the edges. These are very subtle, but it adds a little bit of that sparkle along the edges, but it shouldn't take away much from the flowers themselves. And because we're using the brush technique, I'm not going to wait as long as we usually wait for when we do the piping bags, just because the brush doesn't usually put as much pigment, and so it doesn't tend to be as heavy when it comes to how much pigment's going into the resin. So I find that I generally can go a little earlier when I am using a brush. Okay, so the next step is the same as before, is we're adding some glitter into the centers, and I found that these lighter glitters tend to float. We've probably noticed that in some of the previous videos, so I'm going to try to see if I coat them in a little bit of resin first, if that's going to help them actually sink down, or at least not float up as much as they normally do. So we're just going to see if the resin just makes the glitter a little heavier so it sinks down, just to kind of minimize the floating that we're going to get. And I have two different glitters here. And again, as you guys know, I list all of the products that I'm using and the brands with links in the description below the video. So if you want to know the products I'm using, just please check down there. So I'm just going to get this glitter in here. And then once I finish that, I'm going to let these sit for about 15 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes, and while I was waiting, I had mixed the pigment into the leftover resin that I had. And again, as before, I mix all the resin at the same time, so this resin has been sitting for the same amount of time as the resin that's inside the coasters. I just added pigment to them. And as you can see, I'm using my paintbrushes, and I'm just kind of creating these slightly curved lines. And what I'm trying to do is I want to try to make kind of layers of petals. I know in the past we've done some other techniques where we've kind of done, some loops or spirals, or just kind of flower, kind of more petal shaped. This one I'm going to see if we can actually just make layers by kind of these portions of circles and see if that helps. And I'm also layering the white and the color side by side, because I'd like to have the kind of the edge of the petal to be white and then the inside of the petal to be a color. I don't know if it's going to work, but that's just kind of the theory that I'm working with here. So we're going to try this with the pink, and then I also have a teal color that I'm working with as well. So we'll do that one after this, and then I'll heat them a little bit once I have all the pigment laid in, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so we're just finishing up here, and I am using the heat gun, and I realized that the teal pigment wasn't moving very much, so I'm gonna push it a little bit with the heat gun and see if that's gonna help at all. Again, this technique takes a little bit of time, so the resin is curing while this is happening. So I just wanted to see if I could help it along a little bit. Okay, so it's the next morning. These have cured overnight, and now we're ready to unmold. So let's do the teal one first. And as you know from the last clip, we pushed it a little bit with the heat gun just to see if we can move those colors around. And I love it. Oh my goodness. I love how these petals turned out. It's exactly what I was looking for, with the layers of the petals and the white around the edges and the inside with the color. This one turned out perfect. I'm so happy with it. And we'll see if the pink did the same. The pink one, we didn't actually push as much. We kind of let it do its own thing. So let's see what the difference is with that. And, if it's, who knows, maybe pushing with the heat gun is a new portion of the technique I should be trying. So, but let's see how the pink one turned out. And okay, so this one turned out nice, but you can see that the pigment didn't move the pink especially didn't move as much. It tended to sink a little bit. And again, this one was done before the teal, so maybe the timing needs to be a little bit more than 15 minutes. But I do think that the heat gun pushing it definitely helps. So I'll have to test that some more. Anyways, guys, I hope you like these flowers. I'm in love with them. I like this technique. I'll definitely be doing more. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, guys. See you next time.